my name is Amit and I'm back with the next episode of the Test Talk Show. In this episode, we are talking to Mr. Gaurav Srivastava. Gaurav hails from the North India and has been in the space of testing for close to 2 decades now. And he has a lot to share. So without any delay, let's start with it. Gaurav, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And secondly, we'll start with a quick introduction. You can talk about who you are, where do you come from, the kind of work you've done and others, and then we'll go from there.
All right, perfect. So first of all, Amit, thank you very much for calling me at Moolya and giving me an opportunity to speak about my past career. And it's been a roller coaster journey for me in past almost 17 to 18 years being into QA. And I would like to just tell you about what all things I did in past, how I started my career and everything. And at that time when I started, it was like the testing was really progressing, and not many people were aware of that there is some domain called software testing as well. Or probably I would say when I started, it was more on like I was expecting that I will go for a software testing, but later on what I found was that the company which I was giving an interview, that was basically a game testing company.
Okay.
So at that moment I met one of my classmates, and he was like he was somewhere in Kanpur, and he told me that I was just discussing because I was curious. I was about to start a new career, so I was just discussing with him that I prepared myself for software testing, but this is now a game testing. Should I go with it or not? Yeah. So at that moment he told that okay, game is also kind of a software, and at that time it was like the conversations were going on, and we were not that grown up as well. Yeah. So he said that okay, game is also kind of a software, so probably it might be an exciting field.
Yeah.
So why don't you give it a shot? Software testing is something which you can do later as well. So it's something challenging. Why don't you give it a shot? Yeah. Then I was like, okay, cool, let's go ahead. So I was like, I gave my interview and everything. There the thing started when I saw that how these people were interviewing, and my final interview happened at 1:30 a.m. in night in Noida.
Why so late?
Their process was like that because they wanted me to be a part of their. It was a night shift, first of all. So they wanted to check I can manage that kind of a night situation or not.
Oh, yeah.
So all of a sudden, I was having no idea that what is going around. They gave me a console, and they asked me to play some game randomly, and then report bugs. I like, okay, cool. When I was going through that software testing course and everything, so I knew that what things are, what I have to do exactly. But that console was something new to me.
I'll take you back slightly more. So you're originally from Kanpur,
right? And
all your studies was there.
Yes.
Your graduation was, as I recollect, not in a tech field.
Graduation I did from BCA, IGNO.
Oh, you did it BCA?
Yes.
Why did you choose BCA?
I was never very much fascinated about doing the normal graduation, BSc and all. I wrote my IIT exam as well, but I didn't get much. I would say it was just a marginal difference.
Okay.
And I was not I didn't go through that examination. And then later on, I was not very much interested into doing all this BTech and everything because I knew I wanted to learn something which is really hands-on and more of where you get all the practical experiences. So at that moment, then I thought that okay, I'll do my BCA from IGNO, and then from Department of Electronics I did my O level, A level, and B level. So wherein I compared the courses, what courses are there in BTech and what courses I'm going to learn about. So I found that course syllabus was at that, in those days, it was almost equivalent. And I was like, why to go with all this BTech and everything? And, I met few of the faculties over there from where I was doing these courses and everything. So I found it a little bit more fascinating. I would say, I met the people or the faculties over there whom I'm still in touch after so many years as well. And they are just like a guiding factor for me, and wherever I'm stuck, I call them or I speak.
Oh, still?
Yes. I always
Which year was this when you did your courses?
It was 2002, 2003, 2004, and 5. It continued.
So 20 years down the line, you still are on call basis with it?
Call basis actually has stopped because everybody got busy into their lives and everything. So I don't want to intervene much in between. But yes, over WhatsApp and everything, and I am in regular touch with my old people.
So when you chose BCA and started studying there, what kind of pressure did you have to start your job as well? Was there a huge urge or a pressure, or it was chill?
No, it was chill because when I got to know that it's a gaming, it's going to be a game testing. So I was like, for initial few days, I was like, it's a night shift, but I was like, okay, it's the start of a career.
Did you start while you were still studying or after your?
No, I was still studying.
So you were still studying and started working?
Yes.
Okay.
So later on, when I was doing my, PGDIT from Symbiosis, at that moment I was, working, and then I was doing that correspondence course as well.
Okay. So you started, how did you know, first of all, that this job opening is there?
Yes, that's a very good story, I would say. So I was like, me and, with a few of my friends, we were in Delhi. All of us were like, from software testing background. So we were all looking out for opportunities wherever, if we get, and, we keep talking to the people, consultancies that allow us to give us an opportunity. So that's how it was. So one day what happened, we all were in same room and I was also sleeping. Then all of a sudden I saw that some noise is coming up, and two of my friends, they were like getting ready. I just asked them out of curiosity that dude, it's 8:30 in the morning, where are you guys going? And they were like, we got an interview invite and we are going. In the back of my mind I thought that okay, these people never told me last night, but because morning 8:30 you are getting ready, so it means that you should have received the invite a day before, right? But then after that, when these people are getting ready, and one of my friends said that, what do we do at home?
So was this, you were in a PG setting, is it?
It was like we have taken a room, and we all were like sharing the rent and everything. So I also got up and got ready. Then I went to that company which I told you in Noida. And then after that, when I looked into the kind of campus and everything, they have a huge campus. And for me, it was like the first corporate experience. So for me, definitely it will look big for me. So then at that moment, I thought that okay. Then I was like, people were sitting.
Was it a walk-in? Anybody could walk in?
Yes, I never realized that it was a walk-in. But when I reached there, and one of the HR will come and they will ask for the name and everything. And then I asked the HR over there that I'm also from software testing. I did my course and everything. I do have knowledge on this. So can I also appear for interview? Then she said that yes, you can. You submit your resume. We'll take up your name. And then I went from that company because I was just going. I was not carrying my resume because my interview wasn't scheduled over there. I went to Atta Market in Noida. I prepared my resume. At that moment, resume was also not there because I have to make some changes and all. I was not carrying my laptop, nothing. So I created my resume again. I spoke to the person whom that software testing course from where I was doing. I spoke to them. I took some guidance. I created a resume, took a printout, and I think within an hour I submitted my resume back to them. And then when my interview happened, and first round got cleared, then second round got cleared, and then they told me that you wait for a while. And then the final round happened at 1:30 a.m. in the night.
And final word was you're selected.
Yeah, like they handed me over the letter of intent. So it was like,
What was the final word for the other two people?
They didn't get selected.
They didn't get selected. Okay, nice. So before this, you said you did a course in testing. How did you know that something like software testing exists and you should go for a software testing course as well?
Yes. So thanks to my friends, I would say, my schoolmates and everybody, and who were around, because my majorly I keep talking to the people, like people from different backgrounds, so people who are working on different, doesn't matter whether they are related to technology, even if they are in some other business. I like to keep talking. When I saw that okay, software development is happening. And so, I got to know that, in my course as well, like when software development happens, then software testing comes into picture. Without software testing, the product does not get released to the market. It was like a basic term for me. I was like, okay, till the time software development will keep happening, software testing will be a scope.
So you're saying in 2002, 2003 timeline also, the curriculum had this information that there's dev and then there's testing.
Yes, obviously.
And testing is an important piece for the product to go out.
Exactly.
This was there.
This was there in my mind, back of my mind.
No, was it there as part of curriculum also at that point? Did you read it in the curriculum, or you got this information somewhere?
No, I got this information from the institute where I was doing my course.
Okay.
And then when I speak to my other friends who were doing BTech from my IITs and all.
It was really fascinating for me also to know that software testing course companies were also there at that time that were teaching software testing that early.
Right.
In India, I mean, I'm sure only a few places, maybe Delhi is one of those places. And so yeah, you said your friends at IITs and others spoke about it.
Yes.
And then this particular company that you went for the course, how big or small was this?
This company was in Lajpat Nagar, Delhi, and it was around 30 to 40 people were there in that one single batch.
Okay.
Where, in which batch I was enrolled.
Okay.
So they were having a curriculum of like manual testing plus automation testing. Manual testing got over, and my automation testing was about to start in that institute when I visited for this interview. So then I got selected here, and then I started my job. So automation testing bit, I left it at that moment. I left it there.
Okay.
But later on, when I was, because see, I was from like programming background, so I learned like languages like I started from Fox Pro.
Okay.
That back. So Fox Pro, C, C++, Java. So my programming background was there. So I was always interested that, okay, let's, do it. So I started with, learning QTP, record and playback and everything. So from those times, my automation interest, got started. There, But the only thing was that I'm in gaming. I don't have a setup. So I didn't get that opportunity to implement. I got this opportunity when I came to Bangalore. They got some kind of projects internally, and I was also like I internally have started working on some other dummy projects to make myself ready. So that's how my learning started in back in 2009-10.
So going back a little bit, for the software testing course specifically, you said there were 30-40 students in per batch. So I'm guessing a decent number of people knew about what software testing is and it exists as a profession.
Exactly.
And how much did they charge you at that time?
It was 6,500 for including automation.
For how long? How many months?
It was 3 months duration.
3 months?
Yes.
Okay, nice. And then how many hours of classes every day?
It was 2 hours every day.
So you were still doing your BCA?
Yeah.
And you'd come from Kanpur to Delhi.
Yes.
So that journey also, why Delhi from Kanpur?
Because at that moment when I was in Kanpur, so most of the people I will hear about that, this person has got job in Noida, this person has got job in Gurgaon. So that was like, I was not, I've never thought about that I will ever come to Bangalore, this deep south, because, being developed into a northern region. So that mindset wasn't there. But then, I heard that everyone is then, going to Noida, Delhi, Gurgaon, Ghaziabad. So this complete belt is there for the NCR region. So that's how I thought, okay, in, staying here in Kanpur, I will not be able to do what I want to do or, what I want to achieve. Then probably this is the right place for me, at least to start off with.
Yeah.
Right. If you have to, go a little higher, you need to have some kind of a place from where you can start off. You can think starting off where you can get your favorable environment.
Correct.
How to start. And, I was having, quite a few friends from Kanpur itself, my seniors as well, who were already there in Delhi. So I thought that, okay, if I'll go there, I'll meet them, at least, their seniors, they will guide me for something.
Yeah.
So that's how I got, I got into that. There is also one good thing here. I got very good mentors over there. Though they were my seniors, but, I still treat them as mentor. And, one of my mentors, I spoke yesterday itself. Okay. So I keep talking to him. And he's like, he's a product director in one of the organizations.
Okay.
I'll not take the name. So I am always in touch. So he's kind of a mentor for me, and he keeps, telling me that what exactly you need to do if you are stuck somewhere, if I have some kind of a situation where, I need, it's not that I cannot handle the situation, but I take a second opinion as well to be sure that whether this approach will work or the other approach will work. Yeah. So I always try to, if there is some kind of thing, I always try to explore various options, then choose the best one amongst them, which can go along with that situation.
Makes sense. Yeah. I think this is the one thing that I also follow in life, which is suno sabki karo man ki. Right. For any problem statement, you talk to people, see what their views are, and then finally decide for yourself what works best. So what kind of work did you do in your first few days?
Yes. So at that moment I was working for, and in that I was working on, it was like, a gaming platform, a gaming software, I would say. It was an online game. They were having MMORPGs, if you know. Like massively online role-playing games. It was like huge, and they have like servers across the globe. And there were like, lakhs of players who play Star Wars. You had heard about Star Wars, right? Yeah. So based on that theme only, the game was developed. So I was into testing that. And at that moment, what I found is software and game, because I got a knowledge about software as well when I was doing my software testing course. They gave us a dummy softwares. And when I came to game, every screen in software is static. If you consider a login screen, it is static. Game, it is not like that. Game screen or game environment changes with your movement inside the game. That is very challenging, and you need to have a very sharp eye when you are a game tester.
What kind of bugs you actually find? Like, for example, if
Yeah.
you were to give me some examples,
Right.
what kind of issues you
So
have?
the issues were majorly in games was like, you have, I mean, in games usually it is like to create a real world environment. Like you have buildings, you have roads, you have tracks, you have, NPCs, like, non-playing characters, like
Yeah.
the entire environment
Yeah.
they will create, right?
Yeah.
So some kind like, you should not be able to pass through any of the walls. A proper collision
Correct.
has to be there.
Okay.
You should not be, your leg should not be clipping into the ground. A
Yeah.
proper collision has to be there. So
Yeah.
game involves lot of physics as well.
Oh.
They take care of all it should look like a very real thing. If some projectile is coming, then it should follow that path. All those things, you have to be very careful. So game development is really, I would say technical as well, and one has to be very much, with an open perspective for a game developer or for a game designer for that matter.
And the company that you were part of, did they take you through any training program first few days when you joined?
No.
There's no training. You
No,
start.
yeah, directly
start
started
day
with the testing. I mean, in between, when I joined, then seniors were there, and who just gave me a brief about that. This is the product, and my login and everything was being created. I got the access to the software, and then I just started.
And you said your first few games were the Sony game.
Yeah, first one was Star Wars Galaxies, which I worked on.
And how long did that project was?
That project was like, going on, because in MMORPGs, the development keeps happening, the new worlds keep happening,
Okay.
keeps adding up into the game. That keeps on going.
Okay.
But I worked for like, 1 year, 10 months in that organization.
Okay. Where did you move out to? Which company?
I then moved out to one company called.
So why this movement?
Yes. So this movement was, while working in that company, it was a night shift, and I was getting, health issues.
Yeah.
So that was like a very basic reason for me
Yeah.
to, switch to another organization. So I was trying for any opportunity in NCR itself, but didn't get succeeded. Then I got an opportunity with Pune. So while working in Ionizer, which was in Noida, so there, like, when you meet people, then I get to know that, okay, these are the cities, Pune,
Yeah,
Hyderabad, Bangalore, Chennai. And, so I thought that, okay, these are cities which are going to be the next IT hub. And when I'm outside of my home, it does not matter
Correct.
that,
How far?
where I am.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
everything has a connectivity.
Correct.
From Delhi also, if I start
Correct.
to reach my home, it will take like 6.5 hours. If
Oh.
I'll go to Pune,
Ah.
from there it will take me 1.5 hour from flight. If I go to Bangalore, 2.5 hour from flight.
Correct.
So it almost does not make much of difference.
Yeah.
So why not go to those cities where I can explore more?
Yeah.
Though like NCR also has like plenty of opportunities, but I thought that okay, let's explore new city, new people.
So, which year was this shifting to Pune?
It was 2008.
So, in your school, all your school life was in Kanpur, so you had stayed at home.
Yes.
Your first time staying outside of home was in Delhi.
Yes.
And how many? So the entire year, 2-3 years, you had stayed in that place, or you got into your own place also, or you stayed with your friends
No, I stayed with my friends
for the entire 3 years?
for 1 year, 10 months.
Oh, okay. And then from there you moved on to Pune. Pune,
Yes.
what was your residential situation?
So in Pune, like when I came to Pune, one of my seniors from my previous organization was also there. And it was a bit helpful for me, and I've never been to Pune. That was the first time when I went, but the only thing was like the conversation which has happened on phone. So I got that thing that okay, Gaurav, why don't you come up and explore this as well. So that was like that was just the only thing for me.
I think one piece that I'm collecting from you is you have good connects with a lot of people, and you maintained those connects till this point.
Right.
And that has also been really helpful. So because the reason I was asking is a lot of new people, new kids who come out to a new city for the first time, they don't know what to do, who to reach, whether it would be right for them to reach out to their senior or not. And I think it is okay. Yeah, you should reach out.
Right.
So yeah, you are now in Pune, and you joined a company there. So what kind of work was there in this company?
So there I was working on MMORPGs, which was like an online game.
Same type of games?
No. It was the gaming industry, but now I went to consoles.
Okay.
Like there, I got introduced to various consoles like PlayStations, Xbox, and Nintendo DS and everything. So I'll tell you one thing, Amit. I was a little bit more into the technical bit of that how these things are working. So when I reached to Pune, I worked in that organization for for approximately 10 months, I would say.
Only?
Yeah, 10 months I worked. But the kind of, the work which I was doing, then I got to know that, game testing also has got many parts into that. Like functional testing is there, compliance testing is there, localization is there. So I thought that, okay, I get to know about compliance testing. What is this compliance testing? So compliance testing is something wherein there are certain set of guidelines. Like suppose if you are, working for, if you are testing any game for Xbox, testing has to be performed with, before it goes to users. So there are certain norms which are given by, Microsoft and Sony. So your game has to comply with those norms. Then this will, after once you are done with your testing, this will go to them, their team, internal QA team or internal compliance
before
team.
Before they release.
They check it and then they send it back. So when I got to know about this, so it's not only like the kit which we see in the market, that one Xbox is there. That is not the kit on which we test. The testing kits are different and the retail kits are different.
Oh, okay.
And they have other things as well, like how the memory will. I'm just giving you an example. If the memory is not there on the console, how your game should behave.
Yeah.
So those kind of tests were there. So those were things very I would say at that moment it was little bit away from functionality towards this compliance side.
Okay.
There I got hands on to all this compliance testing and everything, and then so my thing is that till date I keep studying. I have never stopped my study to keep abreast of all the new techs and whatever things are happening in the market. So at that moment also, I was doing this compliance testing. Side by side, I was learning my automation, because when I was in Delhi, automation testing was the one which I didn't completed the course over there in the organization, in that the testing institute. So that I was doing side by side.
This thing, when you spoke of localization also, I want to know for gaming, what kind of localization testing is performed?
So whatever voiceover is there in the game.
Oh, that dialect and that accent gets added?
Yes, so that thing gets added, and that localization, that voiceover, you will get that captions as well, right? For that. That has to get localized. So we will get a big sheet with all the dialogues which are there in the game in different languages.
Okay.
So we have to, trigger that voiceover and then look into that text, then match it up with the, the sheet which has been given by the localization team, and then, move further.
So see, when you start a new game, you select language. So at that time also, were you guys just selecting language and working, or did it look at the VPN address and then where is it coming from, and then
no. This kind of checks were not.
It was the language.
Yes, because it was completely on the local, right?
Yeah.
It's on our testing machine, so it doesn't have anything of that sort.
Got it. So I think as a 20-year-old something, for that person to get into a game testing domain, it's really cool.
It was really cool, yeah.
Because you have to what do you do for a living? I play games.
And there is one thing: if you play games, you cannot test. And if you're testing, you will not enjoy the game.
Oh, wow.
Because gaming has that connect, right? When you see how the gamers play, they will keep looking at the screen. And they'll be like, in the entire flow, they will be keep talking to their friends or whoever they're interacting online.
And they don't care if slight issues are
they
here
don't care. If I take one example of Counter-Strike still till date has lot of bugs.
Yeah.
But the overall game user experience is that good that people just doesn't know. Even the end users know that there are bugs.
Correct.
That's how it is.
So then there is an issue, right, for a game tester. Now when you play games, are you able to play game, or you are still playing like a tester?
No, I was testing. I'm not a gamer.
But today also, when you look at it from the testing lens.
Yes.
Not from a gamer lens.
So testing is like, from past 17-18 years, I have been doing this on a daily basis. So that is like
impossible for it to come out.
And actually, I would say, I was never a gamer. that online gamer and everything. I was never kind of that person. I usually play sports, going outside and, where the physical activity is involved. So I went there thinking that it was when I told you about Energizer, I thought that it was,
You have to play games for it.
Yeah.
So now do you have any gaming console at home? Do you maintain?
No, not. I don't have a gaming console because I don't want to spend more time into this, because if the game is there, then definitely my it will little bit affect my studies, how much ever I plan my time, but it will little bit affect my studies and other things. So gaming console is not there with me.
So okay, you were in Pune, now you're done. Why only 10 months? Why did you shift out of, when there was so much learning of other things in the space?
Yes.
Why move out in 10 months?
Yes. So when I joined a company in Pune, I got an opportunity as a senior test engineer, one role above. After 10 months, a company was there who was looking to establish a gaming studio here in Bangalore.
Okay.
And I got to know about that.
Oh, okay.
And one of the person has approached me that one company is there who is looking to that is a US based company who were looking to establish a complete game studio in Bangalore.
Okay.
I was like, Amar, it's always a good opportunity when there is a studio or a company which is getting established. Then you will get to know, or you will learn a lot of things.
Yeah.
Okay. And the opportunity which I was getting was also a test lead.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, a lead responsibility is there. It was new to me.
Yeah.
And I thought that, okay, Bangalore is also good.
Correct.
So
which year was this?
March 2009.
2009.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've been in Bangalore since 2009?
Yes.
Long time now.
Long time.
So, okay, then it makes sense, promotion with something that huge coming up, and you made that switch. When you came to Bangalore, did you know anybody here? Some seniors? No, nobody was there. So you
actually, a few were there, but I didn't approach anybody. I didn't want to, bother anything, because at that, by the time I was in Pune, and by the time I was back in Kanpur, I was grown up enough to take care of my things, to take care of my own decisions, what I want to do and all that. So I didn't took help.
How old were you when you came to Bangalore?
2009, if I consider, then probably 26, 27.
Okay. Young, very young.
Yeah.
So tell me, this culture of the nightlife culture, was it there in Delhi at that time also? Had you already seen that culture there, or was it something that came up in Bangalore when you saw? Where was the first time you saw a night culture?
Night culture I saw in Delhi itself.
Oh, it was there.
Because is an international BPO.
Okay.
So the BPO culture is night, and more of if it is an international one, then definitely there will be night shifts. And the project which I was working on was from US.
Even the Pune one was
no. Pune was I got in the daytime. So that was the reason when I when I shifted to Pune, that okay, I just want to get my health up and
Bangalore. When you came, how did you set up? Where did you find your place? How did you get started?
Yeah. So when I came to Bangalore, so initial few 2 weeks I got company stay here in Koramangala.
Okay.
And then over the weekend I asked people around that if there are any places around and things like that. So that's how I got to know about one place in Koramangala, and then I shifted.
Which block in Koramangala?
8th block.
8th block. I was in 7th block for a long time.
Oh really? That Adugudi main road is there, if you know by any chance. So on that there was one place, and there I got.
Oh nice. So where was the company? Where was the office of the company?
It was in Koramangala 5th block.
Koramangala.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So how long did you work there?
In that organization, I worked for more than 7 years.
For 7 years?
Yes.
And what kind of work did you do?
Yeah, so that was I would say a lot of things were there, because my main challenge was that I have joined here was as a lead. There was I knew that there will be a team to handle. And I found that, people are, when people were there in the team, they are from different regions, like from Andhra, from Kerala, from Tamil Nadu. They're a mix of people here in Bangalore, which was not there in Pune actually.
Yeah, okay.
So Pune, it was okay, only, the people who are, from Maharashtra, so they were there. Now here, different, people from different states were there, language barrier was there, and everything was there. It was a little bit challenging at the start, but gradually, I got settled. Nice. So because I like to talk, and everybody speak in English, they understand English, so that was not much of a problem. Yeah. And when I got here, so it was again, a little bit of, gaming was there, from which we started. And initially, like the very first project of the organization which I joined in Bangalore, the very first project was handled by me, and that was also a good success. And from there, like my journey started from.
Got it. And so, what kind of games did you guys develop here in this company? Since you spent 7 years,
Yeah.
What type of games were you guys working on?
No, so we were not developing anything. We were
Okay.
having clients. So I have worked for like various big clients if you name in the gaming industry.
Okay.
I mean, you name a big one, I have already worked on that.
Okay.
So it was my profile was like that. And when I told you that when I was in Pune, I was doing the compliance testing. So when I came here, I introduced the entire compliance testing. And at one point of time, when I was talking to the clients and everything, so I was like, meeting them as a compliance lead or compliance head.
Got it. So any new person today,
Mhm.
so gaming is a large industry and it's just only becoming bigger.
Right.
So if a software tester, a new person would want to start in this field, what would your suggestion be?
So for a game tester, basically you need to have a very eye of detail. I would say few traits are there. You need to be very much vigilant. You need to be very much active. And if a person, gaming is something you can test, or you can get into the gaming when you're passionate about that. Many people, because in gaming it is like a repetitive task which you have to do, and in gaming it's a lot. If some person gets bored of doing doing a repetitive task, then gaming is not the domain for that person.
But first question is, should somebody become a part of it? Is there enough monetary compensation available for game testers?
I would say for game testers, what I have noticed, or what all companies I have worked for, software testing industry, the payout is little higher than a gaming industry,
testing.
I would say. For game industry, maybe the developers or the design teams might be at the equivalent level, but for testers, software testing is at a higher, on a higher side, because automation is involved into that.
So there is no automation for games.
Automation for games is there, but you will not get that ROI when you do it for game, because every screen is changing.
Yeah.
So that's the reason.
The speed of change is really fast.
Yes.
So how can a game tester become more technical in the game and increase his chances of getting a better pay? Is the only way to switch companies, or within the same company, can he learn more things, like how you learn compliance and others? Are there more things which he can learn and become more technical?
They can learn, definitely. So if some person is good in coding, okay, so when they are running their games, like there are different platforms like Unity and Unreal Engine are there. So the games are developed on top of that. If some person is good in coding, so there are very high chances that that particular tester can switch to coding as well. So when you go into a game development, that is also like,
can they build tools that help them test better?
Tools we can build, but that building a tool is a very costly matter, I would say, in game testing.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And most of the companies will not go for that, because it's a huge investment, and automation in gaming does not give you a good ROI.
Okay. When did you come out of this company, the first company in Bangalore?
I came out of this in 2015.
So you had started your journey around 2004. Your job journey started in which year?
2006.
Or 2006.
Yes.
So from there on to 2015, you've done 9-10 years now.
Yeah.
And if you were to pick up one most important learning from this first 10 years, because then the second 10 years, second 9 years, 2015 to 2024 today. So in the first half of your journey, if you were to pick out the most important lesson that helped you grow, what would it be?
The most important thing was that what I have learned from my seniors is focus on what you want to achieve. People might, say quite a few things about you. They might try to pull you down. They might have some kind of a personal grudge or anything of that sort. You need to remain focused. That I have learned from my seniors.
Okay.
But
it is very unnatural for a human being, no? Because when there's so much noise around,
yes,
for the person to continue to be focused on the work.
So, see, the thing is, this is something which one has to learn or to develop these kind of skills. Right. So it happens. I'm not saying that, it can have, or you can adapt to this situation in one day. Yeah. But you have to start thinking about it, that I have to avoid all these things.
Yeah.
So gradually, when you, initial few days, you will have to do it a little bit forcibly. Then, eventually it will come into your habit. Yeah, so that's how it is.
And
And
then-
another thing which I would say, which I learned that never stop learning. Even if you are somewhere out or on a vacation or something, it's a different thing. But when you are in your usual days, like going to office, coming back, even if you can take out 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, never stop study. That's what I've learned.
I think there's one very important thing there is, which we keep talking about or we keep hearing from other testers, is once you start your job, then the learning actually goes down. Now that you have the job, see, the main goal of learning or anything is to get a job to get money. And if you have to get the job, you learn. But once you've gotten the job, then a lot of people stop learning.
Yes.
And that, I think, becomes challenging in a couple more years.
Definitely.
So what you said is completely right. And for software testing, it's for everybody.
Yes.
Keeping to learn new things is really helpful. So your first 10 years is done. We have spoken about all your successes, but you've not spoken about your failure.
Okay.
Is there something that you failed at in that journey?
Yes, definitely. I would say that there were a few situations. I will not say, but I failed into that. But yes, there were challenges, I would say, because I take it as a challenge. So that's what I told you when I came to Bangalore. People from different community and different regions were there. I faced a very while at the workplace, I faced a lot of heat. Being I was hired here as a lead, but I was not team was just not ready to listen to me, because what I felt was they were not ready to digest this, that this person coming from north and become our lead.
And same years, very young, not very old.
Yes. So there were like senior testers as well in my team who got the same experience how I got.
Yeah.
So that was like sometimes they were like really they have themselves has blocked.
Friction.
Yes, friction was there. So it was like a bit challenging for me. And then later on, when I was talking to big clients and making presentations and then giving them how this was. So this was like a huge thing for me. So there also like it was a challenge for me that I should not be when I'm giving a presentation, I should not feel anxious or anything like that sort, or they should not sense any kind of these kind of things happening. I do rehearsal as well, when I'm free, and I keep talking to self-enchanting and all those things. So all these things I did to overcome that kind of a barrier. Because in schooling, I am a KB passed out. So in schooling, not that much of exposure was being given, like a stage fear and all those things. So when I knew that I have to if I have to grow further, I have to definitely overcome all this. So that's how all
so
these.
One thing I learned in life is. When you're going to do something and you're really afraid of it, like majorly things like meeting a customer, talking about something, creating a presentation, or being in a debate competition and others, 9 out of 10 times I've won in life when I said yes. And most of the times if I've said no, I let the opportunity go because I was too afraid of it.
Right.
But 10 times if I picked an opportunity, 9 times it was a win. So it is really, really important that whenever we face such a problem where we see that there's an opportunity and we shut ourselves up thinking, no, it will be difficult and all, it's a loss. But if we say yes, high chances are that we will win. So it's really, as you said, right?
Yeah.
Going and doing it, while it is frightening, terrifying, but once you do it, it is really, I forgot the right word for it, but it's really fulfilling.
Yes, you can.
So great. Okay, now we've done these 10 years and you spoke about the problems that happened at workplace and others, but you were able to get through them.
Yes.
So you've done work already for 10 years. Now, when I speak with a lot of testers in the industry, people start losing a lot of energy. So when you start 23, 24, you have a lot of energy. You do all-nighters, you work till late night and others. But once you've touched 9, 10 years, people lose out energy, people lose out on enthusiasm.
Right.
Did you feel something like that? That is one. Second, how did you manage it?
It's a very good question, I would say. And this is something people, getting into a comfort zone, I would say. There's a one term which I can, think about as of now. Not learning new things. And, definitely like, if you're doing the same thing again and again, like, tuck on a daily basis, definitely if there is no spike, then definitely you will get bored. And human nature is there, when you get bored, and if you don't have that kind of a zeal, or if you don't have, one thing I would say here is that in this duration, I mean, this will be like, a suggestion to, to the people who have already got into this comfort zone or who don't want to go into this comfort zone. They should always make good contacts.
Okay.
And they should, I mean, those contacts, at least, if you are not, doing anything from your side, but when you will see that that contact is doing, that also gives you a kick sometimes.
Yeah, correct.
Because there are like, many people who are, who are into this kind of a situation right now. When they spend, like 5 years, 6 years, 7 years in one organization doing some kind of a legacy software or, testing for that matter, using the old methodology, if you have not learned anything new, then definitely you are, not, I would not say 6 years, but at least like, 3 to 4 years back in the market.
Correct.
So now you have to cover up first for that 4 years, and then you are market ready.
I think one thing that comes to my mind when you said that, right? I think it is good to have a group of 5-6 people who could meet often.
Right.
Only for say 30 minutes, but talk about testing, talk about the new things that they do.
Yes.
And that way they are always, learning new things and can implement those new things. And then within that group, if somebody goes ahead in life, it's a motivation for others to also go.
Yes.
And if somebody is left behind, then it's motivation for others to bring that person.
Obviously. And it's not only about the technology. Like as of now, in my group, I have like, people who are, doing new things, not in only the, field of technology. They might be investing somewhere or, so that's how it opens up your mind, which has got little bit blocked because of the comfort zone. Makes sense. That will, open your mind that, okay, these are the areas also. This is also the area. This is also one area where, people are doing. Yeah. Then you will start thinking that, okay, cool. Now, what is that which I can do?
And I think life is a long journey.
Right.
Just going to office, coming back can only keep you happy for a certain period of time.
Right.
And then you need stuff like this, say, personal finance, learning to swim, or learning to sing.
Right.
Why not?
Right, obviously.
So all of that is really important pieces of it. And I think, after a couple of years, those also become really important, along with the learning on the job as well. So now we've done these many years. What have been the highlight of your last 10 years in the industry? Have you seen a huge difference compared to how it was the first 10 years and in the second 10 years?
Yes.
And what was it?
Yes. So initial first, like I would say, like, first 10 years, it was more of like, manual. If I talk about testing, more of manual, less of automation. Then I saw the trend changing, manual and automation coming on a cut to cut. Then manual in the next 10 years, manual going down, and then automation coming up. And now what the trend is going on, that the requirement which is there, the manual is very less. Now automation is here, and testing using AI has come into picture. Okay. So that's how the trend is now, changing gradually. Okay. So that's how, if you will see, like, many people, if you see, or if you go to any conferences or, speak to a bunch of people, the manual, the people who are doing the manual testing have, lot of, I would say, confusion. What needs to be done next? Okay. Because 8 years they have spent doing the manual testing. Now, when you are a college pass out, when you have learned something in your college, like for that matter, any programming language for that sort, after 8 years, you will definitely forget everything. And now this is now a situation for them because they were not in a habit of learning. Now it is difficult for them to get that learning started again. See, learning is a programming language or a new programming language or to, any scripting language is not difficult. Anybody can do that who is, a little techie. But to get that started, I mean, you need to get that, kick from somewhere. Initial threshold is required. What you said is right, yes. So that is something which people are just not getting. And they, I've seen like, many people saying that, we are not getting time for this. Then my advice to them is that if you are not able to get 10 to 15 minutes out for your learning, it means you are not managing your time.
Yeah. So one thing that I want to talk about is, so we divide your career in 3 decades, okay? The first decade, 2005-6 to 2015. Second decade is 15 to 25. And third decade is 25 and later.
Yeah.
So you said for the first decade, you saw a lot of functional testing work happening.
Right.
And it took more precedence or importance against automation.
Right.
In the second decade, you saw automation picking up, and a lot of times that taking more precedence, that taking more importance compared to functional. You're saying in the next decade, it is a possibility that using AI for testing better might take precedence among all of these things.
Yes, definitely.
So, but I have a question. I don't know. A lot of AI tools today, like Copilot and others, are used to develop stuff. A lot of these tools are also used to generate new code for automation as well.
Right.
But do you think when AI or in non-human intelligence starts writing code, would there be more functional testers, because then you would have only these manual or human minds there to test it? So do you think with this logic there should be more human beings involved in doing manual or functional testing and not tools coming in, because tool has already developed something for you? In order to validate it, instead of validating it with the help of other tool, now you're using the human mind only for validating the work done by a tool. So do you think that can also play where functional testers could become again important again in your third decade of your journey?
Yes, definitely. So thing is, whenever we are like, gradually, entering into this AI era. In this era, what I've noticed is, if there is some person, I would say, if that person is smart enough to figure out how to work, then AI is a very, it's a very big field for him.
Yeah.
And now in AI, like, if I take an example of testing, so definitely, like, usually in testing, it is like, from the user stories, you convert them to test cases, and then again convert them to, automation scripts and all those. So that is that's like a sequence which is going on. So now what is happening is AI can help those people as well who are not that good in programming. Like for automation testers, if you see, like, the core automation testers which have used the legacy approach of using Selenium, Appian and all that, and, developing a, enterprise level framework for automation, like you require a good knowledge on programming, good hands-on to programming. But now with this is, I would say, is an opportunity for those people
to also learn
learn a little bit, not this much at least, to which, you need to be in automation.
The depth of skill required in programming may not be as much,
right?
But the depth in the domain or the horizontal learning, where you could use these tools and build the same thing.
Exactly, because these tools, whatever are the AI tools, they are out in the market stating low code, no code. Right.
Have you used any of these tools?
Yes, we have.
And how helpful have they been against the traditional?
They are helpful. I mean, it reduces your human efforts by, I would say, maybe, reduced by 50%. I would
50%.
say. The tools which I have worked on are tools which I have explored on so far. I would say like 50%. Sure. But yes, again, there are limitations. A manual intervention is something which we, cannot completely remove. A manual touch has to be there.
True.
So the major kind of automation and everything, all this AI is something which is there for the repetitive thing which we have to do. Like, so we are running the regressions, we are running the smoke suit and everything. All those things will get.
A new person coming into testing, finally, what is your one-liner message to that person? What should he do or not do?
I would say, like, be smart and keep learning the new technologies, I would say.
Any specific technologies that you think they should learn?
I would say any of the scripting language they can go for as of now.
Actually, the question is, should a new person get into the space of testing at all or not, given that AI and others are happening? From your view, if you had a younger brother who was getting into testing, what would your suggestion be?
It completely depends on anybody's interest. Right. If someone is like, interest is more into development, or he wants to create something new, then it's like, a development is a field for them. But testing is something wherein, it's not just finding a bug. Testing is like an overall, I would say, an overall approach which covers the quality of the product. A product which has bare minimum bugs does not mean that the quality, it has a top-notch quality. So the quality also is an area where a tester can contribute towards.
Oh, okay.
Right. So, and quality depends on many things.
Yeah.
So in my team, if I talk about the testers, not only, find the bugs and get it fixed by the development team, they also give suggestions based on their prior experience. I also give suggestions based on the prior experience that, okay, this was a product, this exact flow was there, we did it in this way, that's where it got succeeded, why don't we do this?
Yeah.
So these kind of things. So for this, a person has to be very much attentive as well. Recall from your previous experiences, what all they have learned. So all these things should always happen.
Got it. Great, Gaurav. Nice talking to you.
Thanks, Amit.
And I hope, given our limited time, we could speak only this much, and I'm sure there are a lot of stories and areas there that we could pick up on. But I'm sure whatever we have discussed in last 30-40 minutes, a lot of our viewers will find, some help from it.
Definitely.
And even if one person is able to, create any kind of impact by having gone through this piece of content, I think we would have achieved our job.
Yeah.
Great.
Thanks, Amit. Thanks for having me here. And I would like to, like maybe after a few days, and I would like to, what I'm currently working on. So definitely, if we can have, more of these sessions,
sure,
and, so that I can, spread more awareness, I would
100%.
say. Because nowadays what is happening is people are not aware that, if, AI is coming, generative AI is coming, they are not aware that what are the, potential of these technologies. And now if you see, there are a lot of, bias which is going on that, okay, AI might take job of the testers, manual testers and all that. It's not, there is nothing like that. But yes, if you will not study, then definitely.
Yeah. Great. Nice talking to you, Gaurav.
Same here,
hope
man.
to have more conversations with you in the future.
Definitely. I would love to
Thank
be
you.
part.